This module will introduce project and team selection. By the end of this module, learners will be able to understand how the project and team selection fit into the model for improvement, understand how to identify a project using data, use the project selection matrix tool, understand how to select a successful team, and use the team selection matrix tool. Selecting your project and team are precursors to the model for improvement. Deciding what your project will be and who will be part of the QI project team are crucial to begin working through the model for improvement. Selecting your project before choosing your team ensures that you will identify the right people to be on the team. For example, it would not be beneficial to have a team filled with staff from the contracts department if you are working to improve a process in the human resources department. Data is one of the most important tools you can use when selecting your project. By reviewing data such as staff or client satisfaction surveys, your community health assessment, or your accreditation report, you can identify gaps between where you actually are and the desired goal. Getting input from staff or your clients will help to ensure buy-in. Everyone will become vested in the success of the project and will be more willing to help facilitate that success. When thinking about a project to work on, it's important to choose something that will show results within the span of the project, or about 2 to 3 months. A smaller scoped project will likely have the least resistance from your coworkers, and by choosing something with a strategic connection, will create more support from your senior leaders and managers. You should also consider a project that has wow factor, something that will make a huge impact. An example might be 5S'ing, a standard way of organizing a storage room. Your team might find pamphlets and flyers that are old and outdated, supplies that are expired, and so on and so forth. Organizing a space is a somewhat smaller project, but when executed and completed successfully, it can have an amazing impact. Increased efficiency or increased effectiveness are two areas that tend to gain widespread buy-in. Increasing efficiency can save time and money. For example, in a clinic, you might move the vitals to a new location, making it more streamlined to get the patient from the waiting room to the exam room. By simply identifying a new, more streamlined location for the vitals, you are reducing staff time. The nurse will no longer have to go out of her way or make continuous loops around the clinic with the patient to get him or her to the exam room. This also means that the staff or nurse's steps and possibly handoffs are reduced as well, creating a savings in time for the service to be provided. A savings in time ultimately results in an overall decrease in the clinic's cost to examine the patient. When you focus on improving the accuracy of a service, you are increasing effectiveness. Service or program accuracy is important because providing patients with out-of-date information can be detrimental to their health, and the patient or customer should always be the top priority. It is also important to reach as many customers as possible by increasing your capacity to do so. Choosing the right project to undertake is critical for the success of the project, and organizations and community coalitions can benefit from using a structured approach to choosing an improvement project. One structured approach is to use a project selection matrix that evaluates and ranks project ideas based on criteria that are important to the organization. It allows organizations to see which projects are most important to address first and which may be deferred or even reevaluated. Here is an example of a project selection matrix. To use this tool, follow these steps. First, list criteria for selecting projects in the column headings, the gray highlighted areas. Some sample criteria are listed in the project selection matrix template, such as the customers indicate need for improvement, data demonstrate that a gap exists, and small scale. It will show results in 2 to 3 months. Next, list all of the projects you are considering in the table rows. Review each project and assign a value based on each criterion on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being poor and 5 being excellent. Criteria can be weighted when necessary. Next, Total the score for each project in the blue highlighted area, and then sort the scores from highest to lowest. The project with the highest score is the project that will likely prove to have the most successful results. Teamwork is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results. Choosing your team should be an intentional decision because it will affect the outcome of your project and overall QI culture. When selecting your team, think about early adopters of quality improvement and those who are most interested in learning more. Those are the people you want on the team. You are creating a team of QI champions. A team will usually consist of about 4 to 6 people. We find it is best to have the following roles on each new project team. A sponsor or senior leader. This person is not a part of the core team, but is there to help you in any way possible or to assist when problems may arise. This person must be in a position of power in the organization in order to help initiate change. A QI team lead who will act as the project manager. Frontline staff to serve as process subject matter experts, and someone with a fresh perspective who is not familiar with the process and can ask the question, why? While your team should be composed of those who have an interest in QI, you should also consider team members with these qualities. Formal or informal influence throughout the organization, willing to try new things and take risks. Have credibility with peers, supervisors, and/or the community. Have a history of success working on a team, understands the process you are working on, is action-oriented, and is detail-oriented. Just as a project selection matrix can help you determine the best project to undertake, a team selection matrix can help you determine who should be on your project team. Here is an example of a team selection matrix. As you can see, the matrix is the same one used in project selection, with updated information and criteria. To use this tool, follow these steps. Review the criteria for selecting team members in the column headings. You'll note this is broken up into 2 separate categories. Member characteristics, the yellow area, lists individual characteristics you would like represented on the team, and that can help identify the types of team members. For example, you may want to identify specific characteristics of a team lead, such as knowledge of process and credibility. Team characteristics, the blue area, are equally important to identify at this stage. Think about what you envision for the team. For example, do these members aid in keeping the team cross-functional, diverse in talents and skills, etc.? Feel free to add any additional criteria based on what you think is critical for project success. List the names of all potential team members you are considering along the rows in the far left column. Review all team members and assign a value based on each criterion on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being poor and 5 being excellent. Again, when necessary, criteria can be weighted based on importance. Next, total the scores for each team member in the green highlighted area, and then determine the outcome, yes, no, or maybe. Review potential team members with yes and maybe in this box to finalize your team of 4 to 6 people. This tool will not only help determine who should or should not be on the primary QI project team, but will also help sort out roles such as team lead and fresh perspective. Remember, even if someone may not be suited for the main QI team at this time due to other commitments or expertise, they may be well suited to be an ad hoc member, someone who does not attend all team meetings but can be pulled in for their expertise when needed. For example, a physician may be needed for their expertise but may not have the time to devote to being a full project team member. Once you have selected your team, make sure to invite them to be a part of this project and let them know that they have been hand-selected. It is important to make these team members feel valued from the very start. To enable your team to better understand the project and their roles, and to bond as a team, it is important to hold a project kickoff meeting. During this meeting, you should consider the following: starting out with a team building activity to get everyone acquainted and foster team cohesion, discussing the purpose of the QI team and explain why and how the project was chosen, discussing who is on the team and what role each will play, talking through the expectations of the team, discussing and agreeing on ground rules together. This will hopefully set the stage for a successful and organized project. Now let's try it. Think about possible QI project ideas you have been discussing in your organization, or any areas you may have noticed a need for change. Where are the gaps between what you desire and your actual performance? Does the project have a strategic connection to your agency? Can the project be done on a small scale and show results in 2 to 3 months? Consider the wow factor. Is it an area that desperately needs improvement? Will showing improvements in this area gain buy-in from staff to do future QI projects? What is the resistance level from staff, managers, and leaders? Make sure to choose a project that has low resistance. Now, identify potential team members that fit into the various team roles and have cross-functional representation. I encourage you to use the provided link to check out the Quality Improvement Step-by-Step Guide for links to selection tools discussed today. If you need additional assistance, please contact us at info@improvepartners.org for a consultation. Thanks for listening.